Hey guys, welcome to Burning Science channel. Today, we are talking about different types of satellites that Isro launch. If we consider, Isro launch 5 types of satellites. Number 1, Communications Satellite. Number 2, Earth Observation Satellite. Number 3, Experimental Satellite. Number 4, Navigation Satellite. Number 5, Satellite for Scientific and Exploration. Before we have explored these types of satellites, first we have to understand different type of satellite orbits. The satellite orbit is generally have 2 types. First one is circular satellite orbit. For a circular orbit, the distance from the Earth remains the same at all times. Second one is elliptical satellite orbit. The elliptical orbit changes the distance to the Earth. On the basis of distance from the Earth, circular orbit satellite is categorized as: Number 1, geostationary satellites. Geostationary satellites have a geostationary orbit, which is 36,000 kilometers from Earth's surface. This orbit has the special characteristic that the apparent position of the satellite in the sky when viewed by a ground observer does not change. The satellite appears to stand still in the sky. This is because the satellite's orbital period is the same as the rotation rate of the Earth. Number 2, Medium Earth Orbit Satellite. A medium Earth orbit satellite is one which orbit is within the range of 1,200 kilometers to 36,000 kilometers above the Earth's surface. Satellites of this type orbit is higher than low Earth orbit satellites but lower than geostationary satellites. The most common use for satellites in this region is for navigation, communication, and space environment science. Number 3, Low Earth Orbit Satellite. A low Earth orbit satellite is one which orbit is 1,200 kilometers from Earth's surface. A low Earth orbit is defined as an Earth-centered orbit which revolve around the Earth at least 11.25 periods per day. Number 4, High Earth Orbit Satellite. A high Earth orbit is a geocentric orbit, with an altitude entirely above that of a geosynchronous orbit. The orbital periods of such orbits are greater than 24 hours. Now, we explain types of satellite one by one. Number 1, Communications Satellite. A communications satellite is an artificial satellite that relays and amplifies radio telecommunications signals via a transponder. It creates a communication channel between a source transmitter and a receiver at different locations on Earth. Communications satellites are used for television, telephone, radio, internet, and military applications. The communication satellite series of Isro is NSAT series. The Indian National Satellite System, NSAT, is a series of multi-purpose geostationary satellites launched by Isro to satisfy the telecommunications, broadcasting, meteorology, and search and rescue operations. Commissioned in 1983, INSAT is the largest domestic communication system in the Asia-Pacific region. It is a joint venture of the Department of Space, Department of Telecommunications, India Meteorological Department, All India Radio, and Doordarshan. Currently operational communication satellites are INSAT 3A, INSAT 3C, INSAT 3E, INSAT 4A, INSAT 4B, INSAT 4CR, GSAT 8, GSAT 10, and GSAT 12. Number 2, Earth Observation Satellite. Earth observation satellites are satellites specifically designed for Earth observation from orbit, similar to spy satellites but intended for non-military uses such as environmental monitoring, meteorology, map-making. Starting with IRS-1A in 1988, Isro has launched many operational remote sensing satellites. Today, India has one of the largest constellations of remote sensing satellites in operation. Currently, 11 operational satellites are in orbit: ResourceSat-1 and 2, Cartosat-1, 2, 2A, and 2B, RISAT-1, and 2, OceanSat-2, Megatropics, and Saral. The data from these satellites are used for several applications covering agriculture, water resources, urban planning, rural development, mineral prospecting, environment, forestry, ocean resources, and disaster management. Number 3. Experimental satellites. Experimental satellites is launched mainly for the experimental purposes. This experiment include remote sensing, atmospheric studies, payload development, orbit controls, and recovery technology. Isro has launched many small satellites mainly for the experimental purposes. These are SRE-1, Apple, RS-1, and RTP. Number 4. Navigation satellite. A satellite navigation is a system which makes use of artificial satellites for providing autonomous geospatial positioning. In other words, satellite navigation systems can generate positioning information. Satellite navigation systems can also provide information regarding local time to high precision and can aid in time synchronization. To meet the civil aviation requirements, Isro is working jointly with Airport Authority of India in establishing the GPS-aided, George-augmented navigation system, GAGN. The main objectives of GAGN are to provide satellite-based navigation services with accuracy and integrity required for civil aviation applications, and to provide better air traffic management over Indian airspace. To meet the user requirements of the positioning, navigation and timing services based on the indigenous system, Isro is establishing a regional satellite navigation system called Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, IRNSS. This is an independent Indian satellite-based positioning system for critical national applications. The main objective is to provide reliable position, navigation, and timing services over India and its neighborhood, to provide fairly good accuracy to the user. The IRNSS will provide basically two types of services: standard positioning service, and restricted service. The 8 operational satellites in the IRNSS series, namely, IRNSS 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E, 1F, 1G, and 1I. Number 5. Scientific and exploration satellites. Indian space program encompasses research in areas like astronomy, astrophysics, planetary and earth sciences, atmospheric sciences and theoretical physics. The balloons, sounding rockets, space platforms and ground-based facilities support these research efforts. A series of sounding rockets are available for atmospheric experiments. Several scientific instruments have been flown on satellites especially to direct celestial X-ray and gamma-ray bursts. The scientific and exploration mission of Isro are AstroSat, Mars Orbiter Mission, Chandrayaan-1, and Chandrayaan-2. Thanks for watching the videos. Please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for the latest update.